Hi friends, it's Tiana Williston from our from our blooming Catholic life, and we're here today with another Lectio Divina. This is our third look at the Gospel of Matthew, verses 6 and 7. And let us begin again, for up till now we have done nothing. Remember, I'm going to read the Bible verse 3 times. I'm going to pause for a second or two in between each. That's your hint. Go ahead and hit the pause button. Take some time to really chew over, meditate. You may want to look up some words. You may be jumping to other Bible verses. Feel free to hit pause on those. Have your journal out. Write in your journal whatever you're going to write. Draw whatever you need to. And we're going to do that 3 times before I give you any thoughts that may or may not have come to me. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Oops, wrong prayer. St. Francis's prayer before the crucifix. Sume glorioso Deus, illumina tenebras cordis mehi, et da mihi fidem rectum, spem certum et caritatem perfectum, Domini ut faciam tuum sanctum et verax mandatum. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Why that prayer in Latin? Because people from around the world watch this, and that way we're all praying the same version of that prayer. I know in English there's like 5 translations of it. It's insane. So easier to do those prayers in Latin. But about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing, and he said to them, Why stand you here all the day idle? They say to him, Because no man has hired us. He said to them, Go you also into my vineyard. But about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing, and he said to them, Why stand you here all the day idle? They say to him, Because no man has hired us. He said to them, Go you also into my vineyard. But about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing, and he said to them, Why stand you here all the day idle? And they said to him, Because no man hath hired us. He said to them, Go you also into my vineyard. Friends, I'm going to go ahead and look. I haven't done it before. That new Bible app I was just showing you this morning. Let's look at Matthew. We're at 20. And 6 and 7. So it's the same translation in English, but I thought I'd go ahead and switch over and try to do the Latin for you really quick. It's a quick look, so let's see how it goes. Cerca undecimam vero exiit, et invenit alios stantes et dicit illis, quid hic status tota die autiosi, dicunt ei, quia nemo nos conduxit, dixit illis, ite et vos in vinem meum. What really jumped out to me this time, friends, was, okay, this parable could have gone many ways, right? So, what do they call it? The householder could have gone out and been like, hey, where were you bozos? I was here twice already and hired people, and you weren't here. You didn't come when I called. I called twice already. You didn't come. You stayed here. Didn't you hear me? Didn't you hear me calling? Losers. You're probably lazy. Probably not good workers. I'm like, and he could have just condemned them and walked away and gone back to his vineyard. We don't see Jesus doing that, saying that in this parable. And he didn't just call them names. He didn't just make judgments about them. Which you could, because if he's saying this to Israel, I mean, God sent how many prophets after? First, he started out with covenants directly. He started out walking with Adam and Eve, talking with them, right? He created them. He was always with them. You hear that. Except for that moment when Eve was wandering off talking to a dragon. But in the beginning, he was with them frequently, at least. In the beginning, he was always with them. Then he was frequently with them. Once they left the Garden of Eden, he's not there so often, but he keeps coming back and entering into relationship, into covenants with the patriarchs, right? And then we hear about the prophets. He's constantly sending people out to call the people back. And so here he is. He's going out the 11th hour now, looking again. And there's still more people somehow just standing there. We don't know why they're still standing there. Had they heard the call and ignored it? Were they like me in high school? I do say this story way too often. When we had in PE in high school, when we had baseball and tennis, the women's gym teacher had taught tennis and the men's taught baseball. Now, the women's teacher, of course, the girls' teacher, had the checklist of the young ladies, and she knew who was in the class. The men's teacher did not know who the ladies were. And vice versa. She didn't know who the guys were. So when it was my turn to be over in the baseball section, knowing that he did not have the list, originally I did try to play baseball. It horribly hard. It so badly. Even if I caught the ball, I think I threw it and hit somebody in the head or, something awful like that. So somebody said to me at some point, he doesn't know who's here. So there were two tricks we would do. One, a friend who did legitimately have asthma, she would pretend to have an asthma attack, and I would go inside and be the person to walk her to the nurse. And we did go to the nurse. And whether or not that person was genuinely having an asthma attack, I kind of doubt, but she may have felt it coming on and wanted to get inside. Little interesting, she never did that when we played tennis. But anyway, yeah, I'm not recommending this, kids. This is how I got out of gym class. It's my shady past. The other trick was somebody said, you don't even have to go that far. There was a group of women, a group of teenage girls that would just hide. The baseball field was at the edge of the parking lot, and so they would just go sit in between the cars. And they'd spend the whole class there, get up and leave. He never did a head count, or he just really didn't care to engage the girls who weren't good at playing. I don't know. But we would just sit there. We were never challenged on it. We were never corrected for it. And so it became a habit over the years of just going and hanging out and talking and sitting between people's cars. So are these guys, is that what they're doing? The employer comes and they just fake it for a while? Were they all using the men's room when the householder came looking for employees? Where were they all day? Because he's been there multiple times, right? So I don't know. He's going to the marketplace. Maybe he's going to a new place in the marketplace, like a new area. Marketplaces can be pretty big from what I hear. So maybe it was big and he just hadn't seen these guys yet. I don't know. But there he is. You have to wonder, did he not see them? Did he not call them? Did they not hear the call? Did they hear the call and not go? Did they avoid the call? That can be a lot of us, right? I think I've been all those things at different times in my spiritual journey. But he didn't accuse them. He didn't say, I saw you hiding from me earlier, loser. And just walk away. He's like, I would have given you a fair day's pay for your work. You could have come. I'm a good employer. He could have said that. Could have said, I'm kind, or it's good, honest work. You should have come. There are 1,000 things that he could have said. But instead, he engages them. He says, why stand you here all the day idle? Now, he did throw that little idle slack in there so they could know that they'd been seen a little bit there, right? But as rebukes go, that's not a lot. I don't know. Maybe in ancient Israel, that was a huge insult. But here, people would be like, meh, eh. Some people would laugh it off and stuff. But these guys, because he took the time, and I know it's a story, but he took the time to say, hey, why have you been here all day not working? Were you just buying drinks and hanging out with your friends? What were you doing? He just, he could have added so many more judgmental words, and he didn't. He said, "Why did you stand here all the day idle?" And they were probably like, "Wait, this person actually asked us." Maybe we don't even know. These people could have been handicapped. Again, they could have been like the workers nobody wanted. Maybe they were super poor and super dirty, and so people didn't normally hire them. Maybe they looked like they didn't have skills, or super illiterate, and they thought they weren't good enough for the job. Or maybe they weren't knowledgeable in the vineyard, and so they hadn't gone. So Jesus is asking them here, why? And that's a fair question to ask someone. Do you ask them, do you say, "Hey, haven't seen you in church lately?" Or do you go like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in church lately. What's up with that?" You just ask them why. And then they said to him, "Because no man had hired us." And do we give that invitation? Like, why do people not come? Perhaps because they're not being asked. And sometimes we're on the giving end on that, and sometimes we're on the receiving end, right? So lots to ponder there. And he says, "Go you also into my vineyard." He didn't say, "Oh, well, what are your qualifications?" Or, he didn't go into that. He's like, "Really? Because I was here. I was here twice before, and I did call you, and you didn't come." So he didn't stand there and argue with them. He didn't. He asked them a question, and he was willing to listen to their answer, and they said, "Because no man had hired us." And he took them at their word and just extended the invitation. He didn't challenge them. He didn't call them liars. He just extended the invitation. Like, what would have happened in high school if the teacher had said to us, "Where have you girls been? I know that you're not coming out on the baseball field. Where have you been?" And it would have given us an opportunity to say, "I don't even know how to throw a baseball." Now, how we got to high school without knowing that, when I know we had units starting in elementary school in baseball, that's a whole nother story. But again, a lot of times, I'll be honest, this was my impression growing up, they only wanted the people who were already skilled at it. And I never had those skills, and they just didn't have the patience to teach something more challenging. Now, if my curling Skip is watching this, I realize I have probably some processing issues, because they used to call shots for me in curling, and I could never do the shot they asked, but I could achieve the result they wanted. And somebody took the time to realize that. And so instead of telling me how to do it, she would just tell me what she wanted me to do. And however my little brain worked, I could usually pull off the goal of what she wanted, just not always how she expected me to. It does make it harder. It's more work for them, because they may have to adjust on the fly, because they don't know what I'm attempting to do exactly. They don't know how I'm going to do it. And so it would have taken more work on those gym teachers' parts to teach the kids that didn't know how to throw or catch. Could they have maybe they could have found an assistant or gotten one of the guys to do it and just helped us, because we would have told them, "We don't know how to play. We don't want to get injured. We don't want to injure other people." And honestly, the kids that know how to play have no interest in us being there, and they've made that quite clear. And so we thought everyone would be happier if we just didn't bother to play. I wish he had asked us. I would love to actually know how to throw a baseball. I have a dog now. He loves to play ball. I wish I could throw a ball. It's so dumb. When my son was little, I had no idea how to throw him a ball. Like, I wish somebody had taken that time. Sometimes all it takes in life is somebody to genuinely ask you, "Why haven't you tried this?" Now, maybe the person is going to throw you a bunch of excuses. There's plenty of things that I genuinely can't do or don't want to do. And maybe I can be honest about that too. But you're never going to know unless you ask and give an honest answer. So, mad respect here for this story on levels that I had not seen before. So I hope that this look at verses 6 and 7 have been fruitful for you. So let's go ahead and close out the night. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. The blessing of Brother Leo. Benedicat tibi Dominus et custodiat te, ostendat Dominus faciam suum tibi, et misereatur tui. Convertat Dominus voltum suum ad te, et Dominus bonus det tibi pacem. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. God bless you, friends. Hey, ask people and answer the call. And get out there.